You never forget the smell of a crime scene. Rotting meat mixed with that coppery tang of old blood. It stays with you long after the case is closed. I could almost smell it even now, sitting here, typing this out. It's been a few years, but the memory still haunts me. It was a crisp autumn evening, and I was on patrol duty, winding down a sleepy shift in my quiet little hometown. The trees had already shed their leaves, leaving the branches bare against the moonlit sky. The chill cut through my uniform like a knife, and I remember rubbing my hands together for warmth. That night, a call came in around 10 p.m. Dispatch said something about a disturbance near the old factory on the edge of town, a place long abandoned, forgotten even by the most nostalgic locals. It was a relic from an era when the town had once thrived, now just a crumbling carcass of brick and rusting steel. I arrived to find a teenager waiting nervously by the entrance, shifting from one foot to the other and glancing over his shoulder as if expecting something or someone to jump out at him. He looked pale under the dim light of my patrol car. "What's going on, son?" I asked calmly. He swallowed hard and pointed toward the factory. "I was with my friends just messing around. You know, being stupid. We thought we heard something inside, like a scream. I didn't have backup, but I knew there was no point in waiting around. If there was someone in trouble, time was critical. I told the kid to head home and radioed my location in case anything went south. I unholstered my flashlight and headed toward the factory. As I approached, I could already feel the unease settling in my bones. The air was damp, filled with the scent of rust and mildew. The entrance creaked open, and I stepped inside. The beam of my flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing long-forgotten machinery draped in cobwebs. Every sound, my footsteps on the concrete floor, the faint rustle of leaves blowing through broken windows, seemed amplified in the silence. It was as though the whole building was holding its breath, waiting. Then I heard the scream, echoing off the cold stone walls like a wounded animal's cry. My flashlight flickered, briefly plunging me into darkness before flaring back to life. I scanned the room, my eyes settling on an old door at the far end of the hall. It hung slightly ajar. I approached cautiously, pushing the door open to reveal a narrow staircase leading down into what looked like an old storage area. My breath fogged up as I descended, and the air grew colder with each step. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears, each thump echoing off the walls as I reached the bottom. The storage room was massive, stretching out in all directions like a maze. My flashlight barely illuminated the walls, casting long shadows that seemed to move in the corner of my vision. And then I saw her. A woman was crouched against the far wall. Her face was smeared with dirt, and her hair hung in matted clumps around her shoulders. She was muttering something under her breath, rocking back and forth. I approached slowly, keeping my flashlight aimed at her. "Ma'am, are you all right?" She didn't respond, just kept rocking, muttering. I reached out and gently touched her arm, and that's when she finally looked up. Her eyes, dear God, her eyes, empty and hollow, like black pits bored into her skull. She let out a blood-curdling scream that echoed off the walls and froze the blood in my veins. Before I could react, she bolted past me, disappearing into the darkness of the tunnels beyond. I spun around, flashlight in hand, trying to follow, but she was gone. That's when I heard it. A slow, scraping sound coming from somewhere behind me, like metal dragging against concrete. I turned the flashlight in that direction, and my heart stopped. Standing at the edge of my light was a figure, tall and thin, its limbs twisted at unnatural angles. It was draped in filthy rags, and its face, if you could even call it that, was obscured by a burlap sack stitched together with crude thread. I couldn't see its eyes, but I could feel them staring right through me. It took a step forward, and the scraping grew louder. My hand reached for my sidearm almost instinctively, and I yelled, "Stop! Police!" But it didn't stop. It just kept coming, one slow step at a time, dragging something metallic behind it. My finger tightened on the trigger, and I fired a warning shot into the darkness. The noise seemed to startle it. It stopped for a moment, and then it turned, disappearing into the tunnels. I don't remember how long I stood there, frozen, listening to my own breathing. But eventually, I forced myself to move, racing back up the stairs and out of that cursed building. Backup arrived 20 minutes later, and we searched the factory from top to bottom. We found nothing. No sign of the woman, no trace of the figure, just cold, empty rooms. A few days later, a missing persons report came in, a woman who'd been last seen near the factory the night I was there. Her car was found parked nearby, keys still in the ignition. Her name was Lisa Carter. She was never found. To this day, I still don't know what I saw that night. Some nights, when the wind howls through the trees, I swear I can still hear her scream, echoing in the distance. It was well past midnight when I spotted the red blur of a broken taillight flickering through the mist. Pulling over cars for minor infractions like these wasn't unusual in my nightly patrols, but something about this one seemed off. As I approached the driver's window, my hand instinctively rested on my holster. You see, night shifts are a different breed, the kind where every shadow could be a predator's cover. The window rolled down, and the man inside gave me a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, his nervousness masked poorly by over-eagerness. "Evening, officer. Something wrong?" I pointed out the taillight, but my eyes were still searching. It's funny, well, not comedic funny, but strange, how you learn to listen with more than your ears in this job. I asked for his license, and as he fumbled with the glove compartment, a soft thump from the trunk caught my attention. "Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle," I said with a calm voice, trying not to let him know I was on to him. He complied, though his gaze flickered briefly to the trunk before meeting mine again. Adrenaline began its familiar dance in my veins, the choreography of fear and focus. While my partner kept him talking, I circled to the back with his key and put them in the trunk lock. I turned it slowly, bracing myself for the possibilities of what may lay inside. As the lid popped open, the pale face of a woman peeked through the gap, her eyes wide with the sort of terror that carves itself deep into your memory. Her lips were chapped, trembling as she whispered, "Please, help me." We got her out, wrapped my jacket around her shaking shoulders and radioed for backup. And as they arrived and were leading him away, his eyes, hollow with defeat, met mine one last time. He won't be getting out anytime soon. I still think about what might have happened to that poor woman if I never pulled him over.